this off, for those who are not familiar with Chimeric Therapeutics, perhaps let's kick this off by talking a bit about where you're at now, what you're doing, and providing the market with an overview of activities to date.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So Chimeric Therapeutics is a clinical stage cell therapy company. And as you know, cell therapy is the most active space in biotech today. We were listed on the Australian Stock Exchange in January and have been incredibly excited about the growth that we've had since January. We've been able to advance our clinical programs. We've actually been able to build out our pipeline, adding in a new program, and we've actually expanded our team to continue to drive our growth. So really exciting year for us so far.
Fantastic. Look, it's a tough year for everybody, but an exciting time to be listed on the markets and demonstrating and proving out and delivering the promises that you made to market as you're coming to listing. Congratulations. Talk to me a little bit about your mission, the mission to bring the promise of cell therapy to life. What does that mean?
Thank you. It's a great question. It sounds kind of silly, the bring promise of cell therapy to life for patients, but really what it has to do with is the fact that myself and my team, we've all worked in this area for a long time, and we've actually watched patients be cured of their cancer. So we've watched patients who were told that they were going to die, they should go home, get their affairs in order, have a CAR T therapy, and actually 5, 6, 7, 8 years later are still alive and their cancer hasn't come back. And so when you see that, that's actually what our mission is. Our mission is to have more patients experience that, to be able to bring that to more patients. So that's the promise of cell therapy that we talk about bringing to more patients.
And let's go, just stepping back to even the question as to the mission and the purpose of Chimeric Therapeutics. It's really, as a biotechnology company, it's really focused on cancer drugs.
Absolutely. We are very much focused in oncology on cancer drugs and cell therapy specifically, because we believe cell therapy really has that ability to provide curative intent to patients, not just to delay it, but to actually cure cancer.
When we spoke last, you provided us with an update on the chlorotoxin range of products. Where is that at? What's been happening in the development pipeline really around the chlorotoxin products?
Yeah, when we spoke last, we had actually just completed the first dose cohort for our chlorotoxin CAR T program. So that was the lowest dose cohort of patients. We've since then been able to move into our second dose level. So we're now dosing patients in the second dose level or the second dose cohort for the trial. And we are continuing to move that forward. We were also really excited recently. We received clearance from the US FDA for our first IND. And now having that IND ourselves enables us to actually expand that clinical trial to additional sites and then to prepare for a trial in other solid tumors as well. So lots of activity since we last spoke.
Well, not only that, you've been named CEO and MD. That's a pretty exciting time for you.
Thank you. That is very new news. That was just yesterday. So it is you're absolutely right. It's a very exciting time for me. I'm incredibly honored and really appreciate the faith everyone has shown in me and look forward to living up to it.
Now, tactically, Chimeric's also made an announcement of the acquisition of a new asset, and that is the CDH17 CAR T cell therapy. Now, that's a mouthful. Can you brief me on what that actually is?
I can. It is a mouthful. CDH17 CAR T cell therapy. It absolutely is. So that is a new asset for us. It is something that we got the exclusive license to from the University of Pennsylvania. And the University of Pennsylvania is an incredibly well-known cell therapy center. They actually were responsible for bringing the first cell therapy to approval in the US. And that particular CAR T, the CDH17 CAR T, is a first in class. And so what that means is that this is the first time anybody has actually made a CDH17 CAR T cell therapy. It was invented by an incredible scientist who's been working on it for over a decade. And it shows incredible preclinical efficacy and safety. What we saw in the labs with the CDH17 CAR T was complete tumor eradication. So there was absolutely no tumor left, and we saw no relapse. So it never came back. in the preclinical models. So we're incredibly excited about moving that asset forward now.
So as a strategy in looking at asset acquisition in this context, do you see yourself doing a little more of that and looking at it from a management perspective?
Yeah, from a pipeline perspective, absolutely. So I think that we do see ourselves continuing to enhance our pipeline. We believe that there are definitely more opportunities for us to bring in and develop cell therapies that really have that promise. So that's what we continue to look for in developing our pipeline.
When you think about the CDH17 CAR T cell therapy, it's still a mouthful to me. So when we think about that new asset that you've just purchased, when do we think it'll go into clinical trial?
Yeah, that's always the exciting part, is moving it into clinical trials and starting to see how these assets that we believe are so promising do when they move into patients. We actually, with that, are looking to move the CDH17 CAR T into clinical trials in 2022. As I mentioned, there's been over a decade of work on this asset already at the University of Pennsylvania. And so we're really just sort of finalizing everything to get it ready for clinical trials. And when we move it into clinical trials next year, we're actually going to move it into a trial in 4 different tumor types at the same time, because we've seen such incredible preclinical efficacy. So we're going to right away start a trial for patients with neuroendocrine tumors, pancreatic cancer, gastric cancer, and colorectal cancer. So we'll be looking forward to that next year. Wow,
so that's pretty aggressive. So early months of 2022, brand new trial targeting, not 1 but 4 segments.
Yes, so I'm not sure if it's going to be early months or mid months of 2022 at this point. We're still waiting for some feedback from the FDA, but we certainly will be excited about getting into all 4 different tumor types. So I think that's going to be a really important factor for us.
You and Paul Hopper, your board chairman, often talk about the Chimeric team. What is it about the team that sets you apart and makes you guys unique?
You're right, we do talk about it. And you know what I think it comes down to is it's a team full of very experienced cell therapy developers. And so among us, there's only, we're a very small team, and yet we've worked on over 25 cell therapies. We've worked on 4 of the 5 approved CAR T cell therapies in the United States. And I think for us, that's so important because cell therapy development is a very unique type of drug development. And what that actually gives us is it allows us to sort of foresee what's coming. It allows us to understand and appreciate what the regulators are looking for, how to enhance clinical trials, and how to move our development forward more rapidly. So I'm truly, excited about the team that we have and we've been able to bring together with a lot of experience, because I think it really benefits our development.
All right, well, here's the big question that all investors are always after at the end of an interview. So what's next? You've achieved a lot in such a short time, from listing during a COVID pandemic to, the acquisition of a new asset to, taking on a new job. One would say almost you're overachieving.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. I don't think it is overachieving yet. We have so much more to do this year. And so for the rest of the year, I think for chlorotoxin, we are really looking to continue to advance the dose levels and the patient recruitment of that trial forward. So we're looking forward to being able to provide people with more updates on how that trial is moving forward. We are looking forward to being able to work through all of the preclinical work necessary to get our new asset, the CDH17 CAR T cell, into market, and then continuing to grow and expand our team as we need to be able to move everything forward rapidly. So lots more to do this year and lots more to provide everybody updates on with our progress.
Jennifer, thanks for speaking with me. Thank you for the briefing, and I look forward to chatting with you again as not only we approach 2022, but we hear more about Chimeric Therapeutics and track its progress.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your time. It was great to chat.